I'm going to be showing you how to avoid wasting time at shippers and receivers in 2025. Let's go. Step 1 is preparation. Before you even get started with your trip, make sure you pre-trip it and check their shippers or receivers to see what their wait times are, if there's going to be any delays, what the parking looks like, or like the load times. You just want to look ahead and already see what some of the drivers are saying so that you could be prepared. I like to personally use apps like Google Maps, or I use Trucker Path. What I like about Trucker Path is you can go on there and it's specifically reviews from truckers. So if you click on like a distribution center or the place you're going to be picking up, shipper or receiver, it has the reviews for that shipper or receiver, and truckers write like, oh, I waited here 10 hours, I waited here for an hour, 30 minutes, or it was quick, didn't even take that long, 15-30 minutes. It just depends on whatever place they're at. What I also like about it is if the parking looks confusing from the map, you can see what other drivers have said. They'll either say like, oh, enter in from this street or take this highway to this road, and like the shipper is in the front of the building, like things that you wouldn't know that your dispatcher might not have gave you if like they didn't let you know sooner. What I like to do is go on Google Maps. I usually get a clear picture of what my route looks like and what the shipper or receiver's building looks like, and how I could enter from a certain street, or if it looks too tight. But I don't use that as my main navigation. I use the Trucker Path and I use Google Maps to kind of double check to see if there will be any things in the way, or if it looks like it's going to be too tight. I just like to plan ahead with that. Step 2, communicate. Call ahead to see if they can take you sooner or if they are strict about your appointment time. It's always worth at least asking to get in and out faster. I've did it a couple times and it works 90% of the time. They usually tell me like, oh no, like it's strict appointment, we have many other loads coming in that day. Or they'll say, yeah, come on ahead, it's first come first serve. So it just depends on how fast they get those other drivers unloaded. So it's best to just call and see for yourself. And you can go on Google and just click on their building if they have a number. If they don't, sometimes you can go on Trucker Path and they do have the number for it. But yeah, your dispatcher's not going to give that to you sometimes. Sometimes they do have it in their shipment details and you can check that yourself. But if they don't, I've even called my dispatcher and they've even told me like, oh, like call ahead, like try to find their number and call and try to see if they'll take you, or they'll even just tell me head there now and see if they'll take you. And I sometimes like I'm like, okay, let me check the reviews, let me make sure they'll actually take me. Like if any other drivers has said like don't come early because they won't take you, and like the only reason I wouldn't want to risk that is if I'm trying to manage my time and I get there early, they don't take me, I waste 3 or 4 hours till my actual time. So that's more time I could have been spent driving. And always make sure to keep your paperwork ready and organized. Having everything in order keeps you on track and make sure you don't like have a whole panic when you're like at the shipper or receiver and there's like a line already building up behind you of more drivers that are getting there the same time because they wanted to get there early. So a lot of times it's good to just have that folder like in your driver door or like right on top where all your other paperwork is at, but make sure it's in a folder that you know exactly what's in there to be prepared as soon as you're at the shipper or receiver. Step 3, arrive early. I know I said sometimes you can't arrive early, but that still depends on those reviews I was telling you about. So if you are able to arrive early, I would do so. It honestly could make it to where you could get another load faster because you could let your dispatcher know and be like, hey, like I got done quicker than the appointment time, they took me in sooner. Like I said, many of the facilities operate on the first come first serve basis. Even if it says like, oh, strict appointment time, if you call ahead and let them know that like your load is at a certain time, but you want to check in and just see if you're able to come in earlier, like most times they'll say yes. But if not, I mean, the worst thing they could say is no, and you won't waste any time. So, step four. And if you have to wait, at least you're early, on time, and have some free time, or can get things done if you need to. Like with me, I have a Switch that me and my wife share. Like we team drive, so if I have any extra time, like I just take her Switch and play the game that I bought for it. So I just play like World War Z, like any game that's on there that she has, I'll just play it. Or if I need to get things done with the dogs, like we have two of them, and I'll just take them outside to play in a field, or I'll groom them, I'll clip their nails. Even if I'm at a truck stop or near a truck stop, I'll try to take them like bath or something so that they can stay groomed. Or if I have any paperwork that needs to be finished from a previous load, or any emails, or uh, anything that needs to be done from my company, I'll try and go ahead and get that done, um, so that I could already be ahead. And a lot of times that helps me later in the day when it's time to go to sleep and I don't have like all these things in my mind, like, oh, did I get that done? Or are the dogs okay? Like, do they need to get some energy out like before I go to sleep? And just things like that. Like, you want to just give yourself that extra time to be able to do things or rest as much as you can so that you could start the next day like fully prepared. Step 5, keep track of your times. Make sure you write down the exact time you arrive at the shipper or receiver and when you are finally unloaded. This way, if your company offers detention pay, you'll have everything you need to back it up and ensure you get paid for your wait time. Like in the beginning, when I first started driving, I had trouble with this because I was still like learning like the backing and like when do I need to get to a shipper, like the hours of service. That was the hardest part for me. But like once you get all that down, you're able to focus on these other things where so you can actually get paid. But if you have the all those other steps that I've had you take already, you should be a lot more prepared to at least think about these other things, like writing down your times to get paid for like detention pay, because the your company most times won't let you know because they're a lot of times relying on you to give them that information so that you can get paid because you're supposed to be worried about that in their eyes. So make sure that like as soon as you get to the shipper and you're like safe to do so, like what I do is I just write it down in my notes and I put like the start time as soon as I like start getting unloaded. Or you can even just put when you got there and checked in. Like that's another option that I sometimes do, depending. It always depends on the load or how long the wait time is. And like if you've got there and it's already been like 30 minutes and you still haven't got a door, I would have already started it to get that detention pay. And then whenever I'm leaving, like as soon as I'm finished unloading and I get a little bit closer to like the guard shack, when I know I'm right about to leave, that's when I put my checkout time so that it could be as much time as like the time that I wasted there before I end up like giving them those times for detention pay. And if you still happen to look at your check, like when you end up getting it and the times don't look right, just give your dispatch manager a call, because like all you have to do is just let them know and they'll fix it. Sometimes they don't write it down, or like they're busy on their end and you just need to remind them, and they'll try to get that in there as soon as possible. And if you already even missed that check and you're worried like, oh, I'm not going to get that money now, no, just let them know and they should add it at least to the next check so you could still get paid for that time. And step 6, build relationships. If you're constantly going to the same like shipper or receivers all the time and like you're friendly with them, professional, and they know who you are, like they remember your name or even just your face, 9 times out of 10 like they don't remember your name but they know what you look like, then like just try to stay being friendly with them and professional, like try to ask them how their day was just so that they remember you. Because a lot of times, like if I get remembered and they didn't have any problems with me or any confrontations, then they'll even let me know like, hey, you can go on ahead, like your check-in time is this time, but like we can take you in now. And it just depends on where you go. Like if it's like a Walmart or like a Hobby Lobby, most times they have like strict appointments since they have so many loads going in and out. So you can't most of the time, and you might even get penalized if you go earlier or you're late. Like they'll charge the company, and you have to reschedule your whole time, and you might even have to drop that load, and another driver picks it up since your time will run out or you won't be making any money. Or if it's a company that really is kind of upset that you were not on time or you were too early and it still penalized them, they might even just make you wait there and deliver that load the next day or sometimes even the next week. Like there's been times that they will reschedule it for a following week, but like I've only ever had that happen because I either had to go home or had to drop it and give it to another driver, or there was something wrong with the trailer, and it wasn't like my fault. It just was something natural that happened, and I had to go get it fixed, and the time took too long, and that led to it being either late or like I couldn't make it, so they had to reschedule it. But yes, time is money, and every second counts out here on the road. And us as professional drivers, we have to learn to pre-trip, plan, be professional, look ahead, make sure that we have everything we need. And with all this, you can avoid wasting time at shippers and receivers in 2025. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you know the next time that I upload. We'll be uploading a lot more videos like this soon, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching.